Hello, welcome to Relax Recaps. I'm your host, Howard, and if you're like me, you can't fall asleep without something in your ears, and you love summaries of your old favorite books that you can't find time to read again, well, this show's for you. And today we're going to be going over Mistborn, The Final Empire. The summary will be read from sunsmart.com that I will link in the description below, and without further ado, let's turn down the lights and get right into it. The Final Empire is ruled over by a god emperor known only as the Lord Ruler. Ash falls from the sky constantly and mist shrouds the world at night. A slave race known as the Ska run plantations that are oppressed viciously by the ruling class of nobility. Vin, a Ska girl, is part of a thief crew. She unknowingly has the abilities of a Mistborn and thus is able to manipulate all the metals of Allomancy. When she is taken to the ministry to pull off a job, she is identified as an Allomancer by a high-ranking obligator when she attempts to soothe the obligator's emotions. Meanwhile, Kelsier, another Mistborn Ska, learns of Vin and her powers from a fellow thief. He rescues Vin from an attacking Inquisitor and brings her into his thieving crew. The crew consists of a thug named Hammond, or Ham, a soother named Breeze, a smoker named Clubs, Dachshund, who's not a misting, but he runs logistics, a terraceman named Sazd, Yedin, the leader of the Ska Rebellion, Kelsier, and Vin as the Mistborns. Their goal is to overthrow the Final Empire and set the Ska Rebellion up as the rulers. Kelsier himself will kill the Lord Ruler if he can. Kelsier begins to train Vin in the ways of Allomancy, teaching her how each metal works. It soon becomes apparent that Vin is an extremely talented Allomancer, and in spite of her limited training is nearly able to best Kelsier at times. What seems to be harder for Vin to learn, however, is how to trust the rest of the crew. Up until this point in her life, it has consisted but nothing but betrayal. Their job has several key goals. Number 1. Gather a Ska army of at least 10,000. 2. Get the garrison out of Luthadel. 3. Destabilize the nobility by creating a house war. 4. Take the palace, claim the Adium, and control the economy of the Final Empire. 5. Get the Lord Ruler out of the city, or kill him if possible. Breeze will use the soothing to aid the recruitment. Ham will work on the training of the soldiers. Marsh, Kelsier's brother, will become an obligator to serve as a spy. Kelsier will wreak general havoc among the nobility to start the war. Vin will impersonate a noblewoman to gather information, and Clubs will provide cover via burning copper. Vin enters into court as a relative of Renu, a nobleman who Kelsier controls. Renu is actually killed and replaced with a Khandra, a form of Mistwraith that can consume the body of a man and effectively become that person. At her first ball, Vin meets Elend Venture, the heir to the most powerful house in Luthadel. Over the next few months, she and Elend grow closer, despite the warnings from the crew that he is simply showing interest in her to annoy his father. The army recruitment begins to go well, and Kelsier takes Yedin to the caves where the soldiers are hiding and training. Not long after, Kelsier and Ham return to the city, however, they learn that Yedin has taken the army on a practice attack against a nearby city. The attack is successful, but the reinforcements arrive from the Empire and the army is devastated. Vin and Kelsier arrive to see the remnants of the army being destroyed. When they enter the caves, however, they discover 2,000 men remained behind, believing they are being disloyal to Kelsier by attack. The remaining men are taken back to Luthadel and hidden throughout the city. Recruitment continues as possible to add to these numbers. On a positive side, the attack did result in the garrison being dispatched from Luthadel, accomplishing one of the goals the crew needed to overthrow the city. On a whim, Kelsier and Vin travel to the palace to investigate a room that the Lord Ruler enters every few days. Kelsier believes it holds the secret to defeating him. They fight their way into the inner chamber, but when they arrive, 3 Inquisitors are waiting for them. One goes after Kelsier, but 2 attack Vin. She attempts to escape, grabbing a book in her defense, but is stabbed in the side. Just when she is about to be taken, Sazd arrived and is able to fight off an Inquisitor to take Vin home. It takes her a long time to recover. Meanwhile, Sazd begins translating the Book Vin found, which appears to be a logbook of the Lord Ruler when he was simply a man on a journey to save the world from the deepness. As the book is translated, Vin learns much. In particular, she discovers Sazd is a feruchemist, which means he can store his abilities in metal. This is how he stores memories, as well as the strength to use to rescue Vin from the Inquisitor. Unfortunately, there is no information on how to defeat the Lord Ruler or on the 11th metal, something Kelsier believes holds the secret to defeating the Tyrant, but which he can't figure out how to use. Now Marsh succeeds in infiltrating the Obligators, and finds success thanks to his ability as a Seeker. He sends information to Kelsier about how the Ministry has soothers throughout the city who work to keep the Ska's emotions beaten down in order to prevent a rebellion. One night, Kelsier and Vin go to meet Marsh, but find his body destroyed and a hidden note about how the Inquisitors were showing interest in him and that they may be onto him. Devastated, Kelsier heads to the pits of Hathsin, where Adium is mined. He kills the guards, releases the prisoners, and proceeds to destroy all the Adium crystals, meaning no Adium will be produced in several hundred years. And meanwhile, Elend discovers that Vin is lying to him, and he believes she is a spy for another house. He rejects her, telling her they cannot be together. Vin, however, soon discovers that Elend is going to be assassinated that night. She goes to his room, via the roof, and discovers 2 Mistborns and other Mistings about to kill Elend. She fights them off, killing one Mistborn in the process and saving Elend's life, though he doesn't realize that it was her, or what danger he was in. Soon, however, he learns that she was in fact a Ska thief and not a noble spy. Strangely, this is good news to him. Raynu and his house are captured and brought to the city for execution. Kelsier tries to free them but is attacked by an Inquisitor. A battle ensues and Kelsier is able to kill the creature by beheading it. However, the Lord Ruler arrives and Kelsier allows himself to be killed without a fight. That night, the Ska rebel, the soothing stations are destroyed, and the invasion of the palace begins. Vin decides she must kill the Lord Ruler if there is any chance for success. She yet again invades the palace in search of the inner chamber. She makes it inside only to find the Lord Ruler, who is now looking very old, sitting in the room. She burns the 11th metal, but it only serves to show the past self of anyone she looks at. Vin is captured by the Inquisitors, but not killed. Instead, she is taken before the Lord Ruler and the leader of the Obligators. She is his daughter, and when this truth is revealed, the Lord Ruler has him killed, and instates the Inquisitors as the head of the Ministry. Vin is taken back to her prison cell for torture and interrogation. The Inquisitors leave to go to the ceremony that will place them in charge of the Ministry. Sazd, looking beaten and tired, is thrown into the cell next to her. They will torture him and punish Vin. However, Sazd used stored strength from metals he swallowed to free himself and Vin. Vin finds her items and replenishes her metal supply just as Elend arrives looking for her. She fights off the guards and tells Sazd to leave with Elend. She goes to the Lord Ruler's throne room, believing she knows how to kill him. When she arrives, she burns the 11th metal and attempts to attack the past self of the Lord Ruler, but nothing happens. An Inquisitor begins to choke her to death, but suddenly he is killed by another Inquisitor. It turns out Marsh was not killed, but was turned into an Inquisitor. He killed all the others nearby, leaving only Vin, himself, and the Lord Ruler. He attacked the Emperor, but is not able to hurt him. Vin nearly is dead when she notices that the past self of the Lord Ruler is not a human man, but a Terraceman. She pulls as hard as she can and pulls out the 2 bracelets in the Lord Ruler that are embedded into his arm. They were, she realized, the source of his power as a feruchemist. His body begins to decay rapidly without the youth stored in the bracelets. Vin approaches him and stabs him through the heart with a spear, killing him, but not before he could claim that by destroying him they were only dooming themselves. Elend is set up as the new king, and he brokers peace between the Ska and the Ministry and the nobles. Vin goes to him in the night, and they hug. And that's the end of Book 1. Thank you for tuning in to Relax Recaps, and have a good night.